Hi there everyone, we are back, 67, hail hail. Remember to subscribe to the channel, tell a pal, like our videos, get us on Twitter at 67 hail hail, go online at 67hailhail.com. Loads of great stuff, all Celtic related, all on different mediums and channels and outlets. Give it a go, it'd be really appreciated. I've had a couple of days off, I feel recharged, ready to come back. Yes, this is a Celtic channel, but before I start today's video, just want to quickly talk about Scotland tonight. I know this video will be going out, I think, a couple of hours prior to kick-off in Serbia. Massively looking forward to the game. Great feeling about Scotland that they're going to do the business tonight. But then again, I've got probably the worst track record in predictions history, so whatever I say, expect the opposite. But fingers crossed for Scotland tonight. After that Scotland game and two more, we'll be back into the club action. It seems a long way away at the moment, but it is a reality that in about 8 or 9 days, Celtic will return back to action and we are back with an absolute belter against Hibernian. Goes without saying, on the channel we're going to talk about the on-pitch stuff and preview that game nearer the time. But on today's video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the broadcasting element of that game and the way in which Celtic fans are going to be able to watch the match, because it's a little different to what we're used to. Right, there's certain kind of buzzwords and phrases that we've just become accustomed to. The new normal, social distancing, COVID-19, pay-per-view is not a new one, but with regards to Scottish football, it certainly is. If you'd have told me, or I'd have told you a year ago, that we'd have been having to pay to watch away matches directly to other Scottish clubs on a pay-per-view basis, you would have told me I was crazy. But that's exactly the situation we've found ourselves in. And strangely enough, this is the third time that Celtic fans will have to do it when we take on Hibs at Easter Road next Saturday. We've had it twice before this season in the space of a couple of days. We had the away win at Ross County and the away win at St Mirren a few days later. They were priced at £15 for the Ross County away game and £12.50 for St Mirren. That was the amount that we had to pay to these clubs directly to be able to watch the matches. It's going to be £15 next week when we go to Easter Road. And again, Celtic fans will be asked to fork out money to see these games. Now, I've seen lots of other supporters of other clubs saying that we're entitled and that they've got to pay all that basically for every away game they want to watch because Sky don't cover any of their away matches. And while I take that point on board, I would also argue that part of Sky's selling point to Celtic and Rangers supporters has been, over the last few years, but especially this year, that every single away match will be televised. Now, it's never written in the contract, but it's almost an unwritten rule that no matter when Celtic go away from home, it will be televised. Now, we're 7 or 8 away games into the season, and this will be the third one next Saturday that won't have been televised by Sky. On this video, I'm going to go into a little bit of detail into why that is the case, and also why I think this won't be the last time that Celtic fans are asked to fork out for pay-per-view this season. So last year, Sky's new 5-year contract with the Scottish top flight, the SPFL Premiership, was announced. It is a 5-year deal. It's worth around 160 million, and every season they will show 48 Premiership matches plus 6 playoff games at the end of the season. That's obviously irrelevant from a Celtic point of view, because as bad as we've been this season, I highly doubt we're going to be in a relegation playoff come May. But in terms of the 48 games that they show per season, now that may seem quite a lot given that there's 38 weeks in a season, but when you actually look at it, it's not that many. Already this season, Sky Sports have shown 19 Premiership matches, and when you consider we are only just in November, that's actually quite a lot. It's almost half. There's around, I think, 24 match weeks left in the season, and they've got 29 games to show, so they've only got 5 left over. If they were to show one every single week, they would have an extra 5. And when you consider that at the end of the season they want to be showing, maybe us and Rangers in the same weekend if we're going for the title race, and they'll also have, relegation battles, they'll also have battles for Europe, top 6 stuff, then it seems like they've maybe overestimated in the early part of the season. Basically, while English football was away over the summer and also a few European leagues. Sky only really had Scottish football, so they decided to show much more of it than they normally would during the months of August and the start of September. That's why in the opening weekend of the season they showed half of the Premiership games. They had Rangers' visit to Aberdeen, they had our home win over Hamilton on the Sunday, and even in the Monday night, for some kind of strange reason, they showed Ross County against Motherwell. Also at the start of the season they had the likes of Hibs at home to Motherwell and also Dundee United at home to Hibs shown live on Sky Sports. And when you consider that they're now having to choose effectively between showing Rangers v Aberdeen next weekend and Hibs v Celtic, that kind of seems like a bad decision in retrospect. That is a decision that Sky have made though, and they now effectively have to weigh up what game they're going to show every week in the Premiership because they don't have much room to show more than one. Next weekend you would still think that Hibs at home to Celtic would be the one they'd go for, but the fact that Rangers face Aberdeen makes things difficult for them. I've been trying to think, why would they go out and show Rangers against Aberdeen instead of ourselves against Hibs? Few reasons that have come to my mind. Perhaps it's a bigger rivalry between Rangers and Aberdeen than ourselves against Hibernian. Over the last few years, Aberdeen have been more of a challenge to ourselves and Rangers than Hibs have been. Also, the fact that now that fans aren't at games, it no longer really matters to Sky where games have been shown from because you've not got the atmosphere really. It's an empty stadium at Ibrox or an empty stadium at Pittodrie, and the fact the games at Ibrox makes little difference to them. And the other kind of final thing that we've probably got to admit as Celtic fans, it's nothing against our club because we're still, the biggest one in Scotland by far, but the fact that an English footballing icon, which he is, like Steven Gerrard, is managing Rangers, is going to mean that there's probably more interest in them down south. So that's probably all the factors that have gone in to showing for Sky showing the Rangers game rather than ourselves. It doesn't make it any easier for us because, again, Celtic fans will be asked to fork out money when other fans of other teams aren't, most notably the ones across the city. But I guess it's everyone's choice at the end of the day, and some may say that if we were wanting to go to the game at Easter Road in a normal world, we'd have to fork out probably double, £15, probably about £30 to get to see that game. Looking ahead, I just wonder whether this is going to happen again with Sky Sports. There's a game Boxing Day, a full fixture card. Rangers host Hibernian that day where we go to Hamilton Accies. I just wonder, after setting this precedent, whether Sky may decide to show Rangers against Hibs, which is probably a more attractive game than ourselves going to Hamilton. I hope not. It'd be good if we were chosen at some point by Sky over our rivals. At the end of the day, just as many Celtic fans will have paid Sky money over the years, if not more, than Rangers fans, so it'd be nice to see a bit of fairness there. At the end of the day, it shouldn't change anything for Neil Lennon's players. Well, it won't. The players will still play the game at Easter Road. Let's just hope that as many Celtic fans can get behind the team as possible, whether that be online or, dare I say it, illegal streams. So it's not an ideal position we find ourselves in at the moment. Celtic fans once again been asked to pay more money on top of Sky, on top of BT, on top of Premier Sports, on top of maybe even Celtic TV, and of course Past the Paradise season tickets. It's just more money from Celtic fans, but we are the best fans in the world, so we'll back a team whatever. Let's just hope when they get back to action next weekend that it's a new, fresh Celtic team who are ready to banish the demons of the last couple of months. Prior to that, let's hope Scotland do the business tonight. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll speak to you very soon.